For the past week and a half, I've been playing through Shin Megami Tensei V, and it's got me in this real foul mood. Spoilers for whenever I get around to talking about that. I'm not exactly in love. It also has me wanting to get something off my chest that I've felt for a while. Everyone I've spoken to, every piece of media I've ever consumed about If, led me to believe it to be some fucking masterpiece. Well, I just played through the regular campaign, and it sucked. S-U-C-K sucked. Especially coming off the first two games. But that's a tale for another day, because I'm here to rant about 5. It's been almost an entire year. Is it socially acceptable yet? Can we finally admit that Shin Megami Tensei V was a massive disappointment? As a society, are we at that point? I'm tired of pretending that Atlus can release a mainline entry into the series they built their gosh dang company on, over 4 years after it was announced, as some ho-hum retread of a game they made 20 years ago, and they hardly get any shit for it. Shin Megami Tensei as a series is still cool. It's like Final Fantasy or Pokemon's dark edgelord cousin. It's got demons, bro, and the world is this depressed, post-apocalyptic, yet high-tech mishmash where demons from another dimension take over the world. It's cool to be a fan of Shin Megami Tensei. It's cool to have your online avatar be Jack Frost. It's cool to wear the t-shirts. It's cool to own the games. It's a cult fan base. Large enough to thrive, but not quite mainstream enough that your mom or your sister or your aunt would know what it is. You feel like you're a part of this real niche. And it's hard not to love this series, but that doesn't mean you need to be happy with all of it. SMT fans, in my experience, can never admit when something flat out sucks. Unless, of course, you're talking about Persona 5, because it's fucking normie trash! Meaning we can hold a magnifying glass up to it, cross-examining and highlighting any little old foibles we find. Persona 5 has major issues, don't get me wrong. Its final 20-ish% has to be one of the worst endings to any story ever told, regardless of medium. Yet it remains a generation-defining classic, where Shin Megami Tensei V is average at best, has already exited public consciousness, and only die-hard series fans can even pretend to give a shit about it at this point. Rewind to about a year ago, and I'm hyped like everyone else. I almost can't believe that this is coming out, because it looked like a dead project for a few years. Then the game hits, reviews well, YouTube personalities are gushing about it, online discourse is overwhelmingly positive. I buy the steelbook the day it comes out, tear through the game over the next couple of weeks, and it didn't impress me. I was ready to be wowed. I'm giving this game more respect than I do most anything else. And you check back online, and most people have shut the hell up about Shin Megami Tensei V. And if the game ever did come up, it was always the same fucking line every single time. Well, the story is a little lacking, but the gameplay is fantastic. 10 out of 10. You talk to anybody about this game, and they'll say some variation on that every single time. That's what they'll say. As if having almost no story whatsoever is a small concession. As if you can just brush that under the rug. Hey, let's make this 46-hour JRPG with a plot about as thick as a Captain Underpants flip-o-rama. All you do is go from area to area waiting for something to happen, wondering when the story is going to move. Only it never does. You hit credits after playing for 50 goddamn hours, and you think to yourself, that's it? That's it? And its premise contains zero creativity. You're a high schooler, then the demon apocalypse happens, and it's about how humanity is going to survive in this brand new world. Wow. Oh geez. It's not like I've ever heard that one before. Twice. Isn't half of Shin Megami Tensei's appeal its hook? 6 months before this game came out, they remastered and re-released 3, which just invites a comparison they aren't going to win. It only serves to highlight how much inspiration they took from their own game. If you're going to have the exact same setup, you need to actually do something different with the rest of the game. Why are we playing this when you already got it right the first time? Isn't making your sequel distinct media franchises sequels 101? 5 feels like it only exists because Atlus felt like they needed to make a new Shin Megami Tensei game, instead of organically arising because somebody had a good idea or a coherent vision to take the series with. The alignment system, a series staple right from the beginning, is an absolute joke here. You play through the entire game, only for it to essentially line up all your choices single file in one area. Okay, Here you go. Who do you want to help rule the world? Nobody's gonna help this, like, gold angel lady. Nobody's gonna help this fucking guy in a business suit. Fuck you. Fuck your suit. I'm not wearing a suit to work. Fuck you. Okay, maybe you'd help the devil lady. Except no, because it's all a charade. Because we all know deep down we're all little Shadow the Hedgehogs, loners, and we're going to side with none of the above and pick the neutral route. I like how many of the side quests in this game will point to NPCs in direct opposition of one another, and you need to decide through your actions which demon comes out on top. That's good shit. It draws from this well many times, and it's always great. But things like that used to be how the entire game worked. Instead of this basic no-brain choice, oh geez, do I want to help the demons? Or do I want to help the humans? Or do I want to help myself? It had been 5 years since the last real Atlas JRPG, almost a decade after SMT4, 20 years after Nocturne, and the best they could do was a game that's a bit lacking in story, but the gameplay is good. Fuck your gameplay, man. That sucks. Even if that fucking line were true. How is that not a complete letdown? Well, let's talk about the gameplay. Do you mean the battle system? The same battle system they've trotted out for nearly 20 years at this point? Yeah, you're right. It's pretty good. It's about as good as it was in every other modern Atlas RPG. Am I gonna give this game a medal for not fucking up the battle system? Am I supposed to be impressed that the encounters are on the world map and not random anymore? JRPGs have been doing that for years! Navigation is purposefully annoying, just so the game has an illusion of functional level design. It's never clear how to go anywhere, and you spend most of your time bumping around, hopelessly trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B. That's the main gameplay mechanic in Shin Megami Tensei V. Don't get it fucking twisted. Its main appeal is whether or not you enjoy navigating these fucking mazes. It's almost like the original games on Super Nintendo, so maybe I guess they've got me there. Spiritually, anyway. It's like trying to figure out what parts of old pre-rendered backgrounds you could stand on in old PlayStation games. If you enjoy playing an entire game about that, then sure, Shin Megami Tensei V is for you. And then when the game wants to do some good old-fashioned dungeon crawling, traditionally, like in a building, with hallways, it's with these stupid fucking wind turbines pushing you all over the place. Does anybody enjoy this part? Honestly, I would love to know. Shin Megami Tensei V is a distilled, dumbed down, basic interpretation of surface-level SMT tropes blown up on the grandest stage of them all. Congratulations! You made a prettier Nocturne, only stripped of all originality, with no plot, performance issues, and no real reason to play you outside of saying that you did. And it stings extra hard because this series had all these new eyes on it from Persona 5's success, from the older games becoming cult classics over the years. It's a full-blown, big-budget Atlas game that they obviously poured a lot of effort into, and we don't get that a lot these days. I bought 4 back in 2013 completely blind. I just thought it looked cool, and it came in an oversized box. Never even heard of the series. Well, they're not flying under the radar anymore like that. And now when people are actually paying attention, Atlas responds with, well, there's no story, but the gameplay is good. I hate that. And I hate pretending that that's good enough. Everything was lined up for this to be the next Atlas masterpiece. And then the game comes out, and even people who like it freely admit that it could have been so much more than what it is. It's such a whiff. You can like anything you want, you can dislike anything you want. Don't listen to assholes on the internet. Never trust anyone who needs a haircut. Goodbye.